description. We live again.
I think we're back. Yeah. Hello, everybody. It is us. We are back. I think you can hear us. So we were just chatting a little bit, but anyway, everything's back, and we're ready to resume this session. Alrighty.
Yep, we are back. I just checked.
It wasn't the longest delay in the world, so it's alright.
Yeah, we believe the issue was a Discord problem. It was the same issue that happened in DTM this past weekend with Discord. So apologies for that, but we are back. And whilst we were away, of course, and we missed it because it went off on our end, but you guys were able to see it. Max Skillen went to the top. So unless that's changed in the seed, I'm not sure if that's going to stay the same. So
it appears we're continuing on, and this gun is fastest at the minute. Let's see if Thomas Bennett can improve on his time. No, he cannot. Zarin Curtis crosses the line next. He can't improve either. We've got a Charus crossing the line behind. It is Quintino who's improved to set the exact same time as Curtis to go 8th place.
Yep, indeed. So, yep, Skillen is at the top from Watson in second. So, yeah, it's kept it the same. I think Flo must have saved it before he did these emergency shutdown there. So, that really is for some reason I could.
Tomaselli is finishing his lap. Meanwhile, let's see where he's going to go. This looks like a solid lap, and it is P9.
As for some reason, I can still hear the gameplay even though I've put it on mute, which is a bit annoying.
Real? Oh man.
Yeah, I usually have it on mute whenever we are streaming, but for some reason the mute button doesn't seem to work on Discord, which is a bit annoying.
Right. Well, Kolovich is still stuck in the pits as now Max Skillen is coming in. He's taken P1 in the second run. He'll be pretty satisfied with that. Obviously, he had a brilliant start of the season. He even led the championship after his win in Spain. But after that, things pretty much went downhill for Skillen. He didn't really score a lot of points since then. What do you think about his season, Joe?
Sorry, I was just trying to sort some stuff out. I didn't really pay attention to your question. Sorry.
It's all right, no problem. I was just asking about Skillen's season. That's all.
I don't know what's going on here with my Skillen season. Well, it's been a bit mixed, hasn't it? I mean, he had a good start to the season, but it seems like he's kind of dipped off towards the second half of the season, which has not really helped him, of course, because the early part we thought maybe he could be a championship contender, but then, as mentioned, just slipped away, didn't he?
Yeah, indeed, I'm afraid so. At the minute, he's actually down in 13th position, quite unlucky, and he's had a lot of finishes. Well, actually, Skillen, now that I mention it, Max Skillen is the only driver on the grid to have finished every single race, so at least there's that going for him, as Isaac Fashry has gone out on track.
Indeed, as he now makes his way towards the double left-hander.
Trey currently down in 21st, not looking too good for him at the minute, but he has plenty of time to improve.
Indeed. Right, I'm going to try something. I might go off the what's what I'm looking for? The Discord for a moment and try again. Just try and sort the problem out.
Okay. Until Joe returns, got me to talk to you guys, and he's already back, I guess.
Nah, the problem's still there for some reason. I've got it muted, but yet for some reason it's still delivering the volume.
Maybe it's from me, or
no, I think it's an issue. I think it's just an issue on my end, nothing to do with.
All right.
You guys.
Anyway, Isaac Fashry is about to start his third flying lap of the day, and here he goes.
Yep, into
the brakes in turn 1. The exit there took a lot of curb. Now he goes towards a little bit of incoming traffic, maybe, though I don't think he's close enough to hit that traffic. But he's 7/100s down in the first sector and his personal best. Or if he'll be able to improve or not, I think it'll be interesting, Joe. Let's see what's going to happen.
Well, he's got to find a lot of time in this middle sector, hasn't he? 2 tenths down in the first sector, so it's a lot of time that he's got to try and find. Through the hairpin he goes, and then into this long swooping left-hander. I think you could practically lift through there without even braking. The car will just glide its way through, providing you don't need to back in, of course, because it dips.
It's a very, very interesting corner with all the elevation changes, but it's not the only one. Mergula is one as well, as now Kalovic is actually blocking his teammate Joel Watson a little bit.
Well, Waterson's there's a bit of a Rapax problem then, isn't it? Whereas Watson looks currently on the front row, so he might not be able to get pole position as a result, but unless they unfix themselves, then maybe they could sort it out, but we will see as Fashere comes down. He pits straight, and he doesn't improve.
He did not improve, but Jake Galloway did. He's gone up to 15th place. Now Benz Vallinger is next across the line. Vallinger goes 10th fastest. Alright, left from him. Carl Burns is next up. He's 13th. Ruslan Protiuk stays in 5th place. As Nicholas Zorba goes 6th. With a little bit of an improvement, or I should say stays in 6th. Let's see what Sean McCarthy will be able to do. He's currently in 4th place, getting out of the front row. No, he cannot. And another Canadian adventure there. Continua has started his lap. Meanwhile, now we're looking at Thomas Anderson, who is up on his personal best. He desperately needs this. He has to get good qualifying today. Otherwise, his championship chances may be in jeopardy. Here comes Anderson. He's on the front row. That's exactly what he needs. As Patel doesn't improve.
A big improvement there from Anderson is now Graf across the line to go 14th fastest. Griffiths 9,000ths down on his personal best, so he's not that far off, but he's not had the best of qualifying, it must be said so far.
Yes, I'm P20 at the minute. It's definitely bizarre. Well, Tomaselli is in the pits, so he'll go later, I presume. Anyway, here goes Griffiths. He does improve, but not enough to gain a position. He stays 20th.
Pascal across the line, no improvement. Dudu Kirby, can he improve? He needs to. Only up to 14th.
Can, he's up to 14th. That won't be too good for him, because if the race were to finish like this tomorrow, it'll be championship still for Kirby, but Anderson, if he took the fastest lap, he would be able to take it away then.
Let's double check that, of course, because they both have 3 wins this year, don't they? So
yeah, they do. But I think Anderson could hold the edge on second places. I'm not quite sure.
Yes, he would, because he's got a load of third places to his disposal, whereas Dudu hasn't. So, yes,
alright,
that's that.
Anyway, Quintino hasn't been able to improve on his lap, but Thomas Bennett has been. He's up in the 10th place, just 1 place behind Quintino. Anderson is coming in, and that's the run he needed to have.
Yep, indeed. So at this moment in time, it is still Skillen at the top of the timing sheet at this point in time. And as now Patel comes into the pits, and he'll be greeted by a couple of Rapaxes who are on show on the front pit box. So
yeah, indeed. We were talking about Zandvoort having some issues with the Mercedes pit box. Looks like we got some of the Rapax pit box here, I'm afraid.
Oh, some people might not be aware of that, but it did just come up on our Discord right now. But when we initially thought that Zandvoort was not at risk for the OC, it looks like it is again. Zandvoort is yet again at risk for the top class. This time, though, it's not because of the DAT file. We can assure you it's not because of the DAT file. The DAT file itself is perfectly fine. The problem with it this time, as Rob has just alluded to, is the first pit box. So that's that. As I think
appears to be stuck. No, now he's going through.
No, he's just gone around. That isn't fine, according to Flo. Well, Yuri said to me the opposite there, Flo. So it was all right, apparently, for a top-class car. But yeah, the main problem is that first pit box, basically. For some reason, which is obviously going to be occupied by the Mercedes, they seem to get stuck during the race.
Yeah. Remember, we talked about this while we were off the air. I commentated the race in GP2 and Zandvoort raced here, and we had no issues. So it's definitely very strange because the track's the same. Oh, I got Burns going out.
Continue up whilst he was going out.
Yeah, no, I was saying the track's the same, and I commentated through it, so it's really bizarre that we have the issue when we didn't have it in GP2. I was done with that.
My theory could be that it could be a physics issue with the cars, but I don't know if something in the settings needs to be tweaked or what, but hopefully a resolution gets found, but if not, then maybe we need another replacement race like with Vietnam. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but that'll be a matter of time. As Burns is on track, I think it's going to be his last run, though I could be mistaken. Either way, he's down in P16. 2 places down onto the Kirby, and it'll be their last qualifying session as teammates since Kirby is moving on to the top class. So let's see if Burns can beat him this time.
Yeah, hopefully, Flo. But yeah, this will be his last lap, Rob, because as you can see, it says L9 out of 12. So this will
that's
be his
right.
last flying lap.
On the dev panel.
So yeah, that'll be one thing as well. Some people may not be aware of this, but there is now a DAT file available for the 2020 version of Zandvoort. The only problem is he hasn't got any textures around the outside, and given that Yuri is quite strict when it comes to textures around the outside of tracks when it comes to races that he hosts, we need to kind of hope that if we can't fix it, we have to hope that a 2020 version of Zandvoort with textures around the outside gets made before then. Otherwise, we're going to be in a spot of bother.
Meanwhile, Burns has started his last flying lap, and let's see how it's going to go for him.
Yeah, indeed.
And then, of course, are in the running to win the team's title. It'll be their last race before they rebrand to HWA next season, as Burns is down in the first sector, but not by much.
Yeah, indeed, but he's still down on his personal best, so maybe he can try and find a little bit of time perhaps in the second sector. I mean, let's not be honest, the first sector, the only real challenge is, of course, the first 3 corners. Most of it is basically power, so the main bit of it is going to come from this middle section right here.
Absolutely right there, Joe. This is where the time is gained or lost. And there's also a good amount of time you can find with the tow in Sector 3, but I don't think Burns is getting any of that at the minute. The car in front of him is a little bit too far out in front. Anyway, here comes the middle sector split for Burns. He's down by 10.5 on his personal best. This is not going to be it.
As we now go up the hill, comes Kyle Burns as he will make his way through the left-hander. Let's see if he can find a miracle in the last sector. I don't think he will, to be honest, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Here goes. Burns... I'm afraid not.
No, he didn't.
Session is done. And Lorenzo Tomasei is next. He will have another lap, but he doesn't improve on this one. What about Fast Ray? He goes 18th. Benz Valger is up into 7th place. His session is done. Let's see what Ruslan Pratsiuk can do. Can he stay 6th? Yes, he stays 6th, but he doesn't improve. Curtis has started his lap as McCarthy finishes his without improving. He stays 5th on the grid. We won't be starting any better than that. Now, Jake Galloway, the defending race winner in Brazil, on the grid. He'll be 19th or worse. As Patel is up next to cross the line, can he get himself back into the top 10 Rahul Patel? No, he cannot. It's an unlucky P13 as Thomas Anderson. It's his last shot to take pole in GP2, and he doesn't take it. Skillen, meanwhile, is giving Graf a whole lot of tow as he starts his lap. Daniel Adventure next to cross the line. He couldn't do much, but Zorba goes into 8th for the same time as Wallinger. Take a look at that.
And I'm trying to figure out if Prema is a higher gauge or Carlin's a higher gauge, because you know how Grand Prix 4 works with this. But Griff is currently up on his personal best by a lot.
It's not just that, though, because it's Wallinger and Zorbach who've said the same time, and then right behind them, it's Curtis and Quintino who said the same time as well. So it's very, very interesting. Anyway, here comes Griffiths finishing his lap, and it's 14th only.
Indeed, here comes Duda Kirby on an improvement. He needs to improve. Across the line goes the home favourite, and he goes only 12.
12 for him. Only 12, not so good. If it were to stay as it is, he would still wrap up the title by 2 points. Assuming Anderson doesn't take the fastest lap, of course. Pascual, he doesn't improve, and neither does Curtis.
As Quintino now then, about to finish his lap, heading down the straight. Another one, the home favourites, of course. Quintino, who's had a bit of a tricky season, doesn't improve and remains in 10th position. So currently in the top 10, and he's on the same time as Curtis as well. I've just pointed that one out. Not only are Valdinger and Zorbach on the same time, we've got Curtis and Quintino who are on at the same time. Now, I've been informed that Prema are higher than Carlin, so that's fine. But is Prema
That's gone up to 3rd. How's he done that?
Graf has gone up into 3rd position. He's only 700ths off of skill in there, so very close indeed. And that was his final lap. Obviously, Kalovic and Watterson won't be able to get another lap in, so it will be just Tomaselli and Fatchery who will be left to do a lap. So I know that Prema is higher than Carlin. I've just been informed that by Flo, but I don't know if Prema is higher than Charouz.
I imagine they were, because Charouz is like the newest team, so I'd imagine they were pretty back in the garage, but I'm not sure.
I think sometimes Flo just paced them above the team that it replaced sometimes. So
oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know who's higher between Charouz or Prema, to be honest. We'll have to wait and see. So
yeah, and unfortunately, these guys can't improve on their times any longer because they ran out of laps.
Yep, indeed. So they'll be stuck on the same time as we wait for Tomaselli, Fascier, and Bennett to do one more lap because, of course, Watterson and Kalovich are stuck. And Charouz is higher. So it looks like Flo's going to have to do some work on the grid for tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed.
We'll have to be a custom grid then to sort that problem out.
It's a big shame for Kalovich because he missed a chance. Maybe at a solid result, he'll have to start from the back. But it's not too bad for Watterson. He is 4th for now. And the worst he could possibly be is P7 if these guys beat him. And now Lorenzo Tomaselli, the master of qualifying this season, has had the most front rows out of all, is coming out on track.
Out on track then goes Tomaselli, probably his last chance to try and get one last pole position this season.
I think Tomaselli was brilliant in qualifying this season, but in the races, he had a lot of bad luck, especially in Spa. When he was looking good for the win, but he had to pit early due to a problem, you know?
Yeah, indeed. As Fascier is actually in front of him, so he's out on the track already, and Bennett has just gone out as well. So the final 3 guys yet to do a lap are now all on track.
Yes, indeed they are, Joe. And they'll be interesting to see what these guys can do. None of them are in the top 10 right now, but that can of course change. Isaac Fascier, he's determined, the Dams driver, to get a better position for himself on the grid tomorrow. Let's see what he's going to do. It's time for the last lap. And would you like to go for it, Joe?
Indeed. So we look at Isaac Fascier. Could this be the last time we see him? I don't know, because I don't know if he signed up to GP2 for next season or not. But either way, we now look at Fascier heading down towards the first corner. Down the hill we go through the S's and now into turn 2. And looking very tidy at the moment for Fascier as he makes his way on the long swooping turn 3 now. Then the Senna S, as this is known, heading down this back straight before heading towards turn 4. Another good overtaking opportunity along with turn 1. His first sector 2 tenths down and his 1 tenth down on his personal best. Through turn 4, using all the curb on the outside, up towards turn 5. We go up the hill towards the Ferradura corner. Through the right-hander he goes, and then out of the corner he goes before heading towards this hairpin, before heading off to this left-hander, which is obviously a little bit... You can just take your foot off the accelerator and just basically just glide the car through there.
Yeah, indeed.
Out of that turn before heading straight to another hairpin, which will then, after this, take you straight down to the flat-out Magulo corner before heading towards Young Cow. Through flat-out through this left-hander, his second sector, meanwhile, 1 second off,
down.
half a second off his personal best, so it doesn't look like
Fascier
is going to improve. The hill he goes, around the left-hander now then, before approaching where this new pit entrance is. Pretty much the newer of the two, and obviously we can't wait for this track to be back in real life, of course, because we believe they've got some kind of plan. F1 out. Across the line,
Fascier doesn't improve, he's done. Tomaselli will be next across the line. It does appear he's improving either, but don't forget Sector 3 can always bring a surprise. Let's see what Tomaselli will be able to do. Can he get himself into the top 10 one last time? No, he can't. It's all down to Thomas Bennett, who appears to not be improving.
The hill then goes Thomas Bennett now then, as he will make his way around the left-hander now then. And the pit straight he goes. And now coming across the line then goes Thomas Bennett. And let's see if he can find a miracle in the last sector, which he doesn't, and that's going to be qualifying.
Yeah, it's pole position for Max Gillen and Donai Virtuosi. And I think Gillen will be very happy with that to revitalize his season right at the very end of it. The Rapexes are still stuck, I'm afraid, but they won't have the ability to go out. So, we might have to fast forward or something to make the session end.
Or we can just look at it and we can.
That's true.
Wait for the guys to come in the pit lane and then just wait. So.
Yeah, okay, then. Well, something very big to point out. Thomas Anderson, while he may not be on pole, he didn't get those 4 bonus points. He's on the front row, and if he wants to win the championship tomorrow, I can tell you this much, he's either going to have to win the race or finish second and take the fastest lap. Nothing else would cut it. And judging where he is on the grid, he's in a very strong position to win the race tomorrow, if he can get himself past Max Gillen early on.
Yeah, indeed. But whether he will or not is another question. You've got to keep an eye on Kirby as well, because as we saw at Mugello, he's definitely very good at making his way up through the field.
Absolutely. Absolutely right there, Joe. And of course, Kirby, his target will be get as many points as he needs to clinch the title. We don't know the criteria just yet on his end. We will have them by tomorrow, so don't fret, guys. And it'll be a very interesting finale.
I will hand them to Flo later tonight, don't worry.
Alright. I'm already making up the math in my head, because It's not too difficult. Let's be thankful about that. Yeah, Anderson has only two situations in which he can possibly win the championship. Win the race with Corby not finishing I don't even know where, or get second with fastest lap and hope Corby doesn't score points at all. Those are his paths to the championship.
Yep, indeed. As the seconds tick by, and as the seconds tick by for the last few seconds for the qualifying to end. And
what do you think of this session, Joe? I think it's very interesting, and Skillen coming through there to take pole was definitely unexpected, as we got 10 on the clock.
Indeed, and well, he's obviously had a bit of a shaky year, as we mentioned, but I think if he can get the win tomorrow, it will round off, be a good way to end the season for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, checker flag is out. That's the end of the session, and Skillen will be hoping to round off his season well tomorrow, but he's gonna have a hard charging Thomas Anderson, eager to take the title in his last race. He's gonna try everything he can to make sure he takes that race win and championship. What do you think is gonna happen?
I have to wait and see, of course. Anderson could do what now Terranon did a few seasons ago, but you never know. Kirby could make his way up through the field. But let's go through the grid then.
Yeah, indeed. All right, it is Max Skillen on pole position. Great effort from him. He is one of only 5 drivers making the 1 minute 17s. Thomas Anderson, not quite the 4 bonus points you would have wanted for pole, but he's on the front row, and if he wants to win the championship tomorrow, that's where he needs to be. As Graf is in third, a great qualifying session from the German. You said earlier his season had gone pretty bad, but I think this will be quite a good redemption. Third on the grid for the finale. With Joel Larson qualifying well, he's in P4. Henry Watzel, he's in 5th, and he's followed by Chuck McCarthy in 6th. Ruslan Protiuk, who is in the fight for the Alpha Tauri seat, of course, is in P7, with the same time as Nicholas Zorbach. No, not the same time, sorry. With Ben Wallinger right behind him, he is in 8th place. He has the same time as Zorbach, and I know Wallinger is in front, that is correct. The next two aren't correct because it's Aaron Curtis in 10th, with Gabriel Quintino on the same time as him in 11th. I remember the Prema was in front in both instances.
Yes. The rest of the grid then. Thomas Bennett in 12th with championship leader Dudu Kirby with a bit of work to do tomorrow in 13th to ensure he wins the title. Lorenzo Tomaselli in 14th with Rahul Patel 15th. Jamie Griffiths 16th. Carl Burns 17th with Daniel Adventure in 18th. Isaac Fashere in 19th with Jake Galloway in 20th. Thomas Pascal in 21st. And Marek Kukelevich in the 22nd and last because of that pit bug. A lot of work to do for him tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed. Meanwhile, I think I just got the criteria in my head. If Anderson wins with the fastest lap, Corby will have to finish 6th if Corby wants to win the title. And if Anderson wins without the fastest lap, Corby will have to finish in 7th, I think. So, yeah. And if Anderson finishes 2nd and takes the fastest lap, then Corby will have to be 10th. So he'll have to score a point, basically. Yeah,
whether he will or not, that is going to be a question. But that's
indeed.
for tomorrow.
Absolutely so. What, Joe? What would you say? Because we have a very solid possibility now that the title could be decided on countback tomorrow. What would you say if that happens?
Well, if Anderson is able to do it, then it would be the comeback of the century if he was able to do it. But if Kirby wins it, then I think he would thoroughly deserve it, in my opinion.
I think these guys were a class of their own this season. They're the only ones in the field to have 3 wins apiece, and of course they've been brilliant, both of them, for many parts of this season. It'll be very interesting what happens tomorrow. If it stays as it is, if Anderson finishes 2nd and Corby finishes outside the points, Corby will take the title by 2 points. But don't forget the fastest lap, because those 2 bonus points could just about put the championship in Anderson's column. We'll see.
Well, that is it then from qualifying.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, despite the technical hiccups we had along the way. But it's been a wonderful session. Well done to Max Skillen for pole. Let's see if he can hold on for the win tomorrow. But until then, that's been it from us. Don't forget the team news in Abu Dhabi will be up tomorrow. And we'll also be up here tomorrow for the GP2 finale. It's going to be a hell of an entertaining one, I'm sure. But until then, that's been it for myself and Joe. Take care of yourselves, guys. Take care of each other. And have a good time. Bye-bye.
Okay.